Hey, everybody. Thanks for joining me for another episode of Think Your Way to an Epic Life. Whoo-wee, this next guest, you guys, is going to warm your heart and show you what's possible. This woman is a single mom who went from being on food stamps to being a member of GoBundance for women and owns a big real estate team and flips homes, and she's just ultra successful, a great mom, a great member of society, and we had such a good conversation. You will take a ton away from this. Please share it with your friends.
Kellie, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you, Kara. I'm so excited to be here. I appreciate the opportunity.
Oh my goodness, yes, you are such an enjoyable person, and I'm so excited to get to do this with you. I've enjoyed getting to know you up until this point, and oh my goodness, you guys, we have some fun together. So hopefully you're in the mood for some fun and some growth. Kellie, can you kind of give us a little bit of a background? I'm going to tell them, I did tell them in the introduction how amazing you are, but kind of give us a little background of when it wasn't so great and what you had to do to get to where you are now.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you again for the opportunity. I am so excited to be on this call with you, and hopefully at the end of this, we will have sparked a fire in somebody and really kind of ignited people. So I'm ready to have some fun. This is going to be a great call. I'm stoked. So my name is Kellie Revoir, and I live in little old Springfield, Missouri. Not a lot of people know where that's at. It's in the southwest area of Missouri. And I've been a real estate agent now since 2013. So I'm on my 12th year. But prior to that, I definitely was going through some struggles in my life. The traditional, I followed the checklist that life gives you. You graduate from high school, you graduate from college, you get married, you have babies, and then I was very unfulfilled. And not too long after that, I decided that I didn't want to be married anymore. My ex-husband and I just were not a good match. And I have always been somebody that has loved personal development and growth. And I was going in a trajectory and he was going the opposite way. So I decided that for my mental health and my peace, I really didn't need to stay in the marriage. And so I then became a single mother to two amazing boys who at the time were the ages of 2 and 3. So it
Oh
was it
my
was fun. I
goodness.
had them just 16 months apart. They were both planned. I had them 16 months apart, but it was quite interesting being a mother to two very little kids that were so close, and both boys. I don't know, these listeners have boys or girls, but whew, boys are wild when they're little. They're wild now. They're 16 and 17 now, so they're wild now. But um, was working corporate America, and Monday through Friday, 8 to 5. I did that for 13 years at a data cabling company. I ran the office, and I tell you, it was such an unfulfilling job for me. Um, Not that the job was bad. I had an amazing boss. I had amazing coworkers. I just personally was not fulfilled anymore. I had hit a ceiling. We were a small company and there was nowhere for me to go. There was nowhere for me to grow. I sat in the same seats, walked in the same door for 13 years, 40 hours a week, 40 plus hours a week. And so, it really started to take a toll on me. So I got divorced in 2011. By 2013, I decided, I don't think that I want to be working anymore. I guess I just make big changes. I don't know. I like to take big risks, but I think the universe kept telling me that there's something more out there for me. And I didn't know what it was. I couldn't put my finger on it, but I knew that there was better things in store for me. So I became unemployed, which was probably one of the lowest points in my life, truthfully, and was living off of unemployment. I was living off of food stamps. I was living on Medicaid, and it was me and the boys. So in our divorce decree, we stated we were not going to do child support at all. And he's not a deadbeat dad. He's very present in their life. And it was just the agreement that we had. We, at the time of our divorce, made about the same amount of money, and we split the boys 50-50. So, it just wasn't in the cards. So when I was unemployed and getting no child support from their father, I literally had no income coming in. I was living on the government. And it was quite humbling and eye-opening when something like that happens. My mother was a real estate agent. My father was a builder, and my mom was the number one agent in the brokerage at the time. And it was, not too long after the housing market tanked. And I like to say she became the number one agent by default because all the other agents were going out of business and she had no other way to make money. So she asked me to come work for her. And I really didn't want to. I grew up in a household where we all were in the new construction. I had no desire whatsoever to be a real estate agent. But I went to work for her, just helping her do her paperwork. And then from there, I got my license. She begged me to get my license because, there's a fine line for us real estate agents in the group. There's a fine line between what an admin can do and not do. And she said, just get your license. And I said, fine. So kicking and screaming the whole way because I didn't want to do it. But I got my real estate license in 2013. And I like to tell her she threw me in shark infested waters, and I had a choice whether I was going to get eaten or I was going to survive. So I hit the ground running. She did not give me any option. And, fast forward 12 years, we now own a property management company, a flip company, a new construction company still. My brother is now the main builder for the new construction side. We own commercial properties. I don't like 60 rental units and run a team that averages about 300 transactions a year. So it's crazy where we've come, but man, it is not without the trudging through muddy waters and the crying fits, blood, sweat, and tears, all of it for sure.
Oh gosh, Kellie, thank you so much for being so authentic, so vulnerable, so real, because people need to hear this. Guys, literally, she was on food stamps. Have you ever
Yeah.
been in a grocery store when someone had food stamps and they're like, "Oh, you have food stamps," and they make a big
Yeah.
deal out of it? And you went the thing there's so much in there I want to unpack, but one of the biggest things is you said that you and your ex-husband, you were in growth mode and he was not.
Mm-hmm.
And you had the courage. What made you do that? How did you do that? How did you, and you just had the courage to say, no, I'm going to do this on my own.
Yeah. Yeah. It definitely was not easy. I would say that took me quite some time to really figure out how I was going to tell him. That I no longer wanted to be in the marriage. We went through a lot of therapy, a lot of therapy. And when we would walk out of, the therapist's office, we went through a couple. We actually had one that fired us because none of the homework was getting done. We would leave, and I would be all about doing the homework. And, when we were sitting in the therapist's office, he was super excited. So he says, super excited to do the things that she would tell us to do. And then we would leave and none of that would happen. And then I would say, we need to do this. And then that would cause a fight. And I would say, can we please, our therapist says we need to do this. And it would cause a fight that he was never enough, never good enough. And, I was like, no, I want us to be strong. And he just was perfectly content with the way that things were, and I wasn't. And I don't feel like it was a healthy environment. And I'm a firm believer that we need to be planted in soil that's going to help us grow the most. And I've told people on my team this as well. Sometimes real estate's for somebody and sometimes it's not, and it's okay when it's not. It's okay to give yourself some grace, be forgiving to yourself, and say, this is not the right soil for me. I cannot grow where I'm at. I think everybody needs to find their passion, their purpose, the soil, the richest soil they can find for themselves. And it's different for everybody. And I did not, I knew the trajectory. I was so unhappy. I knew as a mother, I would be a disgruntled, irritated, angry, walking around with a chip on my shoulder person. And I just didn't want my kids to grow up in that kind of environment where I was not happy. And my parents are definitely not risk takers. They've been married for 45 years, and I would love to be in that position. I am definitely a risk taker that says, all right, I'm going to jump off this cliff and we'll figure the rest of it out midair. So that's what I did. I had no plan. Obviously, I had no plan because I had left corporate America with no plan in sight and was living off the government while I was trying to figure out my plan. But that was the catalyst really of what I did with the marriage as well. I just said, this isn't the right environment for me, and I wanted more for myself. I wanted more for my kids. I wanted to be a good mother that was loving and present and all consuming. And then the environment that I was in, that would not have been the case.
So how important is your environment, the people that you spend time with?
Oh my gosh, that's everything. I mean, it is everything. I even so many ups and downs over the years of growing a team. And Kara, I know you've grown a very successful team in the past as well. And so, as you know, we need to be surrounded by people that lift us up, that motivate us. And even just this last year, I was surrounded by some people that the energy was just off. It was not good energy. And boy, did that take a toll on me. I mean, I became disconnected from a lot of things at work because I wasn't when you walk into a room and you can just feel it. And those were the rooms I was walking into, and I needed to leave that environment, or have those people leave that environment. Either way, it was weighing on me very heavy. I can feel people's energy. I know you feel people's energy. And guys, if you want to be able to have this gift, I really think meditation helps with that. Just sitting in silence took me a lot of time to be able to feel somebody's energy, a lot of work. And so I really believe people can by just sitting and feeling feeling their own intuition, and their own guts. And you learn to read people's energy pretty well. And then there are those people that are gracefully just have that gift. Those are the lucky.
Well, I think that gift comes from tragedy a lot of times. It comes from a very rough childhood where the child has to be uber aware of what everyone is thinking and everyone is feeling for survival. And so that sometimes you can turn it into a gift if you're willing to heal. If you're willing to heal those things, you can definitely turn that into a gift. A lot of people who have that, what you call a gift, I think it's so fun that you see it that way, that you see it as a gift and you see it as something that you worked on to be able to do, where a lot of people who feel what other people feel need help with that because they can't cope because they're feeling everything. I mean, think about it. Let's say that you're at a GoBundance meeting and it's just a meeting. It's not one of the big deals, but it's just a meeting. And there's 10 of you and you're sitting at the table and you're having so much fun in this conference room and you're talking and you know what it's like. You're just having the best time ever. And then someone walks in and they start to yell at one of you. What happens to the energy of everybody in that room?
Every single person, yeah, that it shifts quickly, immediately.
And so what would you tell our listeners who have relationships that do that to them, that they can feel that it's happening to them and they're getting so much pressure from others that it's your responsibility because it's family or because of whatever reason? What would you say to them?
Ooh, boy, that's hard. That is so very, very hard. I think if it's a friend or a coworker, hopefully you can distance yourself from that type of person. There are a lot of people that do not have the capability just to walk away from a marriage like I did, um, or walk away from a family member. If maybe they have an in-law living with them or whatever the case may be. Thanksgiving dinner, Christmas dinner, that's different because that's just a one-off. But if you are in an environment like that you can't necessarily separate yourself from, I'm very fortunate. I've not ever been in that situation. So I don't even know that I would be the right type of person to ask. I've been able to walk away. I have a very strong self-worth and self-confidence that has come over time. It was not this way. I've spent a lot of years learning how to feel confident in myself, confidence in being alone. So I have no problems walking away from people like that. I understand also that people don't have that capability. I also am very blessed to have an environment with my parents and my family that we live, because we're a big family organization and a big family business. We all have the same drive, purpose, work ethic. So I'm very fortunate in that way as well. I know of a lot of people that do not have good relationships with their mother and or their father, and my heart breaks for them because I know how much I value that relationship with my parents. So it breaks my heart. Um, I don't even know really that I have good advice to give.
Yeah, it's a really tough one. It really is. So you mentioned your family and how important they are in your astronomical success. For those of you that are listening and you don't understand real estate very well, the average realtor closes 8 transactions a year. 8. How many did your team close?
300 on average.
300 on average. Okay, so we're that I just want you to see the enormity of this, from someone who was literally on food stamps to someone who is not just making a difference in all of the buyers and the sellers' lives, but in her team and all the people that work there. I mean, she's giving people jobs. She's giving them a place that's safe, a place that they can grow and become who they want to be. And all of it is because of
Family, our work ethic, our drive. So many things, positivity, personal growth, so
so
many
many things.
things.
Mindset, who you're with, who you spend time with. And so you went to go work for mom, and mom just like, go get your license, and she was the mama bird that pushed you out of the nest, huh?
Oh gosh, yeah. When I was unemployed living on food stamps, I think I was about to give her a mental breakdown. Even though she had no financial responsibility for me whatsoever, I think that's just the mother, you know. She's like, "You're raising 2 kids. What are you doing? This is so stupid. I can't believe you did that." And I'm like, "Mom, I know it's crazy, but I just feel like I'm worth so much more. There's so much more I should be doing." She's like, "Do it." You know, so I think every parent would feel that way. I would throw a gasket now that I'm raising kids. I would throw a gasket. My kid just quit. I'd be like, "Are you nuts?"
Right, right. So how helpful was it that when you came into that business, you came in and it was your mom's business that you got to come into?
Yeah, it was really helpful. Boy, we built our career on like Zillow leads, which I know a lot of people have definitely have different thoughts on Zillow leads. But back in 2013, nobody was doing Zillow leads. I think we started paying $300 a month for Zillow leads, and that is literally, I know it's nuts, right? Now it's you guys should see Kara's face. Her mouth just dropped.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, those were
Yeah,
the
so that's
days.
those were the days. Nobody was doing it. We were doing it. And then I hired a business coach in 2016. I mean, I was working so hard to try to prove something. I was proving something to myself. I was proving something to everybody around me that whenever, I was living on, boy, I tell you, you're living on food, you're living on welfare. That puts you in a whole different ball game in your mind of your mindset. I was definitely not in a good place, and I had something to prove. And so I worked day in, day out, sun up to sundown, nine weeks without a day off. As realtors, we really don't ever get a day off where we're answering phone calls or text messages. But I mean, I was up, showered, makeup, full face, doing appointment after appointment for 9 weeks straight. And you want to talk about stress. It was at that moment that I said, "What am I doing?" I was not a good mother. I was actually in a relationship at the time that, just blew up, which it needed to. I mean, I gave no attention to the relationship whatsoever. It was so easy to disconnect from, where I wanted to go and where I currently was, and I didn't want to be there anymore. And I overdid it. I mean, I definitely have mad respect for the people nowadays that, millionaires, billionaires that are in the news. I know how hard it is to grow a business and what I went through to get there. And unfortunately, the people I lost in my life in order to get there. It was not easy. It was not rainbows and roses. There was a lot of just junk and trash and heartache and tears. 9 weeks without a day off. And I said, I've got to do something else. That's when I reached out to a business coach. And I tell you, having a coach, listening to your coach is key. Doing and implementing the things that your coach tells you to do, that's everything. If you can do that and you can actually take those steps, you will grow. Kara, you are a coach. You help your people grow. And for somebody not to listen to you and pay you to not listen to you is nuts. I never understand it. I don't get it. But I think there's so much value in a real estate coach or a life coach, just value in a coach. And so I went out and I searched for a coach, and that's how we got to where we are today, because I hired a coach, listened to them, did the things, and I won't ever not have a coach in my life.
Amen. I won't ever not have a coach in my life either, and I are one, and there's no way. What's interesting to me, Kelly, is when I had my millionaire real estate team, and I owned a brokerage, and I was the top producer in the brokerage, and I was a real estate teacher, the CE course instructor, all of that, and the people who worked with me, they didn't listen to me because they weren't paying me.
Yeah.
As soon as I became a coach and they started paying me, people really listen. And guys, that's the thing. When you put some skin in the game, you value it. And it is such a shame. It breaks my heart that people, very few and very rarely do people value things they don't pay for.
Oh yeah, I agree.
What a shame, right? I mean, like, what a shame. It's ridiculous. Right now, guys, for free, you can go on YouTube, you can listen to podcasts like this, and you can learn everything you need to learn to do whatever it is your heart desires. You have to do the work, though. There's no one's going to ride in on the white horse. Did someone ride in, Kelly, and just pick you up and just say, here you go, here's this perfect business and this wonderful life?
No. But man, the journey has been interesting to do that. And had somebody come in and just picked me up and said, here's this wonderful thing, I would not appreciate it at all and probably would have blown it up because I wouldn't have known the amount of work that was required to keep it.
Yes. Yes, 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 yes. And there are people that will, I'm sure, that are judging you, that judge me, that judge anyone. The man in the arena, Theodore Roosevelt, have you heard that speech?
Yes.
Oh,
Yes.
love that. Love that. And people are judging and they're saying, well, come on, Kelly. Why are you still growing? Why do you need more? What do you say to that if someone actually had the nerve to say that to you?
Oh my gosh. And I have been judged. I mean, there are people out there that are haters. I always like to, think to myself, they're typically behind me, not in front of me. It's the people in front of me that are helping me, that are supporting me the most. And the haters tend to be behind me. And what I say to people that talk negative, there's the saying, don't compare my 10 year, my 20 year to your first year, because it takes a lot, so much work to get there. But man, I continue to do this. I really appreciate you about 5 minutes ago saying how much lives I've been able to change over the years, not just in the buyers and sellers, but also in the team members, because that is why I continue to do it. That's why I continue to get up in the morning, because so many people get their license with the dream of being a successful real estate agent. And this profession has brought such blessings into my lives in all areas and all aspects. This profession brought me you. So many things that this profession has brought to me. And without that, I never would be where I was today. I want others to experience that same thing. I've been through the trenches. I want to reach back and I want to pull people up with me. So that is why I continue to do this. It's not a money thing. I'm not chasing the money. I'm chasing my purpose. And my purpose is to help others. And it's no longer just about buyers or sellers. It is about helping other real estate agents get to where they want to be, thus helping buyers and sellers. So that's my what I would hope. This is my hope and my dream in life is to be able to help other real estate agents be successful so they can turn around, help other agents be successful so they can turn around, help buyers and sellers be successful. Like it is literally the ripple effect of who I want to help. It's not about earning more money and more money. It's about helping more lives. That's my true purpose in all of this.
It is beautiful. And you know, I interviewed, I don't know if that was one of the referrals you gave me, someone who owns a VA company.
Yeah, Adrienne Green.
Oh my goodness, I love Adrienne Green. And we talked quite a bit about virtual assistants and how you are genuinely changing their lives. People think that, oh, you're abusing them because you're not paying as much as you would pay someone here in America. Yet the truth is they're able to buy homes, they're able to buy cars, things that they would have never been able to do because we are paying them way more than what they're used to. And so what's a story in your world that you can think of that where it was an agent that came in much like your own, much a story that's similar to your own? Maybe they weren't on food stamps, but their life today, and they're able to contribute at a level today that is totally shocking to them and to you.
So, Kara, that's a great question. And I've got quite a few different areas that I can go through that. But the one that made me cry, the one that reminded me of why I'm doing this, we hired a coach in 2016 and started growing a team. In 2018, one of my team members came in and she came into my office and she was crying. And I'm like looking at her, like, what's going on? What's wrong? Who you? What agent yelled at you? What client yelled at you? And she came in strictly to thank me because prior to her being a realtor, she was struggling to make her rent payments. When she joined our team, and she was a single mother to a 2-year-old little girl at the time. Fast forward 2 years, she'd been able to consistently pay her rent, but now she was taking her daughter on their very first family vacation ever, something she never thought she'd be able to do. And just the tears flowing out of her. I mean, that at that time when you're first growing a team, it was probably one of the hardest things I've ever done in the realm of my career. Growing a team, there's so much pressure on team leaders. And you think, am I really doing this? Am I doing this for the right reasons? And that reminded me that I was doing all of that for the right reasons because she was able to take her daughter, 4-year-old daughter, on a vacation, just the two of them, and she'd never experienced anything like that before. And they went to Florida. So that was huge for me. I had another agent about 3 years ago come to my team, and she was literally hanging on by a thread. Like, I'm done. I've sold 2 houses. I've been a realtor for 2 years now. One of those houses was her own personal house. She joined my team in August. By December, had 5 closings in the month of December. Yes, she was able to pay her real estate taxes on her house and not lose it. And she's still on my team today. So that's why I do it. That's
And
why I
she's
do it. And
selling a
now
little bit more than 5 houses now.
yes, well, that's 5 in 1 month, 5 closings in 1 month. So, I mean, yeah, she's phenomenal now, but she came in, we gave her some hope. She did the things that she needed to do. I think when you cast a vision about what they're fully capable of and you see it on them, and they start to actually believe in themselves, and that woman has a past, and that she has overcome some bigger challenges than I could even imagine. But when you believe in somebody and you show them that you believe in them, that the transformation is massive. And now her husband actually has a full-time job, but he also helps work on some of our flips. And we are teaching them how to do the flips, the how to analyze them. And we're actually teaching her and her husband how to do that because that's been their dream. So,
So
it's
just to clarify for people that aren't in real estate, flips are where you buy a house for a lower price and you fix it up and then you sell it for a profit. So how cool is that they're not just learning the job that they were hired for, they're learning everything that you can teach them.
yeah, yep. Yeah, he's great too. So that's what I love. That's why I keep doing what I'm doing. That's why we keep getting up in the morning and going to work.
Yes, it is so beautiful. So, working with family. Any tips for people that are working with family?
Oh, we still love each other very much. My mother's my best friend. It's all consuming in the real estate world. So we talk about real estate at the dinner table. We go on family trips together. We have just been able to make it work. A lot of grace, a lot of forgiveness. You can't get all wound up because somebody's, spouted something out of their mouth that they shouldn't have. You really have to have an emotional maturity to work with your family. Well, with most people, but man, family can bring a whole separate dynamic to it. You've got to have a lot of emotional maturity and patience and grace for your family.
Good advice. Very good advice. Oh my goodness. Yeah. Family knows how to push those buttons like no one else.
Yes, they do.
And it's so cool though, that the emotional maturity. So what you said you've always been into personal development.
Yes.
How did that happen?
Oh, my mother, I think, planted the seed in me. I remember my very first cassette. I don't know what your average age group is of your listeners, but we used to have something called cassettes that we would plug into our cars. Um, and I think Tony Robbins was my very first cassette, but the GOAT, in my opinion, the greatest of all time is Jim Rohn. And I can probably quote just about every single one of his quotes. Zig Ziglar, which ironically enough, Tony Robbins worked for Jim Rohn for years. That's how Tony Robbins became Tony Robbins. So you're talking about passing it forward as you as a coach want to do, as I want to do, pass it forward. Jim Rohn passed it forward to Tony Robbins, and man, he changes millions of lives a year. So, but just the bug and the constant need to fuel that personal development and feel like I wanted to get better. I've never been one that's been really satisfied with just normal and the status quo. So the greatest speakers, I think.
Okay, so guys, if you're listening at all and you're thinking, there's no way I could do what she does, maybe not, but you could start, and you could start with her very favorite dude, which is Jim Rohn, and you could do it for free on YouTube. Like seriously, just start changing your mental diet. That's a Tony Robbins saying, is the mental diet thing. But just start changing your mental diet, and what you think about. The podcast is Think Your Way to an Epic Life. And no, you can't just sit and go, and everything comes to you. It doesn't happen. As a matter of fact, Kellie, how much more have you learned from your failures than you did ever from your successes?
Oh, so much more. And failures are not failures. They're just learning opportunities.
She said that with a smile and everything, y'all.
Even my relationships that have been failures, I'm like, oh, what learning opportunity did I get out of that one?
Well, and it is learning. If you don't learn something, I heard a story, I'll probably butcher it, but there was an engineer that worked for some big company, and he made this horrible mistake. It was $1 million mistake, $1 million. And he wrote his letter of resignation. He goes in and he puts it on the person's desk, and he says, "There's my letter. You don't have to fire me." And he said, "Are you kidding me?" He rips it up. He said, "I just invested $1 million on you. You don't get to go anywhere."
Oh, man, you want to talk about an amazing leader? Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. That's empowerment right there. Oh my gosh.
That is. And what you said earlier about when you believe in someone, then they can believe in themselves. A lot of times, guys, that is why coaching works, because your coach truly does see that you can do it, but you just got to get out of your own way. There's little bitty things, that make a big difference. Okay. So are you coaching your top realtors?
Yes, absolutely. Yeah. Just everybody on my team, we have a very strict coaching schedule, and then a lot of one-on-ones. I'm also a mentor for a lot of other agents within my brokerage. And man, I mean, I do a lot of it. I actually had a call about an hour ago within my GoBundance group for the same thing. I love giving. As Zig Ziglar says, you can get everything you want as much as you want. Just give. You have to give.
And it's
Freely.
so proven. You have proven it beyond a shadow of a doubt. So tell me a little bit more about GoBundance. We've mentioned it a couple times, but for
Oh
our
my gosh.
listeners who have no idea what we're talking about.
Yes. So GoBundance is amazing. I love it. They have a women's side and a men's side. And the men's side started sooner. There were actually a bunch of real estate agents, Keller Williams agents, that started it and created it. I really couldn't tell you what year they started it, but it was only for men. And they do that for a reason. You know, a lot of times they believe women can, you know, your priorities change if you get a bunch of men and women into a room together. Those conferences are different, you know, but different things. So the women's side did not start until 2019. And then, of course, COVID hit in 2020. So it's not had quite the traction like it should have at the very, very beginning. I joined in October of 21. You have to have a certain amount of net worth, a certain amount of income, annual income to qualify for it. So it is for high level entrepreneurs, CEOs, just high net worth individuals that have a desire to grow their wealth monetarily, but also grow their personal development, grow their family relationships. They have 6 pillars. Health is one of them, adventure and fun. So they really make sure that you're not just solely dedicated only on this is what you're going to do to make more money, because we can all suffer burnout from that, as I did. When I first started my real estate career, I was so focused on being successful monetarily that I lost track of a lot of other things that mattered around me. So what I love about GoBundance is they really focus on the family. The boys and I, my children who are 16 and 17 now, we're actually going to the Go Tribe event in Atlanta, and it's strictly for teenagers. So, you know, it's really being able, I know, you guys can't see Kara, you might not be watching her, but her mouth just dropped open like, oh my gosh. What I love about GoBundance is they have Fambundance where you get together your whole family. I'm not married, so I don't attend that, but they set the children off to one area, they set the husband and the wife off to another area, and they really talk about growing your relationship with your spouse, growing your relationship with your kids, doing fun things. We work and work and work. So they are big on adventure. I just got back from Puerto Rico a couple of weeks ago because they talk about adventure. But while we're there, we're also learning. I learned so much about, you know, for us being women and our femininity, that a lot of times for us CEOs and us entrepreneurs, we tend to stay in a very masculine energy. So they talk a lot about making sure that your feminine still comes out, because that is what makes us unique, you know, is the femininity that we have on the women's side. So they talk a lot about that. And it's same with the men, you know, they talk a lot about masculinity with the men, but still being good, caring husbands and good and caring fathers to their children. I mean, it is not just about finances. It is about surrounding yourself with other people that truly want what's best for you. I made a post the other day on social media that said something to the effect of, it's really awesome to be in a room where my accomplishments don't feel like bragging. So I don't feel like I'm bragging. I'm talking about my accomplishments, and everybody's giving a pat on the back, and they're talking about their accomplishments, and we are talking about collectively how we can do more for all the people around us. So it's changing my family tree and the way that I really want my legacy to live on, and a lot of that is from GoBundance.
Oh my goodness. I mean, it's sounds like you have built-in best friends, coaches, mentors, people that you can network with and do business with. It sounds beautiful. Absolutely
It
beautiful. Yeah, of course it is. Of course it is. And the family being strong, we have all seen that successful person that is smoking a cigar and weighs 500 pounds and is
Yeah,
yelling at everyone and is just miserable. I'm sorry, that is not success.
no,
It-
not anywhere.
yeah. And so to have an environment like that's really safe, that everyone can be together and talk together and not feel like you're bragging. And you know, you need a place to be able to do that. You really do, because what you're trying to do, Kellie, what you are doing, it's not even that you're trying. I hate that word. You are doing is you are showing that it is possible. Nothing was handed to you.
No,
You were on welfare, and now you live in this life of of abundance, of pure
Yes.
abundance in all your areas. So what was one of the most adventurous things you did on this last trip?
Oh my gosh. Well, we went and hiked on a rainforest, which was amazing. I had so much fun and went to downtown San Juan, and it was beautiful. Last year we were in Costa Rica, so we've done that. And they really do epic trips, epic travels. And sometimes they're not. We've done trips in Austin and Dallas and Orlando. So there's a lot that are, within the confines of the 48 states. But yeah, it's been amazing. And it helps because you can disconnect from life when you're in like one of those sunny, I live in Missouri, right? We don't have sun in February. So when you're in a sunny environment, it just kind of the vitamin D and the energy and the aura of the whole place is just amazing. Your mind is already kind of expanding. And then to surround yourself with these women whose minds are also expanding, and the support that you get is just amazing. I mean, I'm a lifer. I'm there. I
Right
won't be
on.
going anywhere anytime soon.
And there's no guilt about being on vacation because your mind is knowing that you are doing the very best thing you could do for yourself right now. There's not like, oh, I should probably be back training that new person. No, you're there because wow, it's the best classroom probably on the planet.
Yeah, it probably is. I mean, I
Right.
think so for sure. Yeah.
Well, I mean, when you think about it, of all the people that go to any particular thing, and I'm sure everyone can't go to everyone, but all the people that are there, not one of you is smarter than all of you.
Oh, right. Yeah.
You put them all
Yeah.
together. Woo.
Oh, some powerful women in that room that collectively, our passion is to just make the people around us lives better.
And you're
It's not
doing
about
that.
earning more money. There's so much more to it.
Well, and the thing is, money is power, and we need power to be in the hands of good people who do good things with it. And
Mhm.
so girl, I want you to make more money than you could ever even dream of. I really do, because I know who you are. And I know that it will make the world a better place for you to have more money. So please don't ever, no matter who judges you, you just call me. I will tell you. I'll tell you.
I will.
It's beautiful. I mean, it's beautiful. It's a beautiful thing. And you get to do some really cool things for people when you can. It's so nice to be able to just write a check, you
Yes.
know?
Or even your time, one of the pillars is contribution. And we have a one sheet that we fill out every quarter. Then contribution is one of the things on there. And it's really, I know, Dave Osborne, because he, in the Keller Williams ecosystem, I was listening to a podcast. I'm pretty sure I listen to a lot of podcasts, and I'm pretty sure he was the speaker. And he said something really profound. And I don't know, what anybody's religious belief is. So just bear with me. But he had said, if God has the opportunity to give you, let's say $100,000, he has $100,000, and he gives it to this one person that constantly gives it away, right? It flows freely through his hands. This person is a giver, whether that's tithing, whether that's with their time, whatever it is. If you have somebody that freely gives it away, and then you have another person that holds on to it so strong because they're so fearful that they're going to lose it tomorrow, and they just have their fist clenched so hard. And then God has this $100,000. Who's he going to give it to? Who's he going to bless that person with? It's going to be the person that flows freely, that gives their time, that gives their finances when they can, and that's the person that is going to continually be blessed. And I feel like the number of times, even 20, let's see, I was living on welfare 2013 and 14 and 15, and 2016, when I finally started making some money, I still tithed. I still tithed at my church, and I gave 10% of everything. And I tell you, it was hard. It was hard doing that. But I never did the automatic withdraw thing because I wanted to feel myself writing that check, because I feel like that there's power in that. So I still continued to give even after having lived a very meager existence for a while. And I tell you, it has blessed me so much, so much. And it was hard. There were definitely times where I was pretty nervous scratching that check, but I knew that it would bless me. eventually. And it has.
Oh, absolutely. And for those of you listening that want to make it automatic, I understand the wanting to write the check and you still get to it, but make it automatic as soon as your money comes in that you put 10% into God. I call it God's account. And it's just this account and it's for whatever comes up for when somebody needs something. And, it's just it automatically, you'll never miss it, guys. You'll never miss it. And it always comes back to you. As Brian Buffini famously says, give it out in slices and it comes back in loaves. It's beautiful.
That,
Yeah. Oh, Kellie, whew, girl. We just started like 2 minutes ago, right? We still have lots of
yeah. Yeah. It's been that long.
so tell me, what's something that I should have asked you that I didn't?
Oh, boy, I don't know. I don't know that I have an answer for that. I think that we've gone through quite a bit. So
I think
I'm always here to help. If anybody needs anything at all, my handlers on all of my social media is my first and last name, Kellie. Revoir is REV as in Victor, OIR. So anybody can reach out to me for anything. I'm always here. And my social media is great to follow. I do a lot of uplifting posts on there too. So if you're ever having a bad day, just go find me and go read some of the stuff. Even if you never comment on it, I'm not expecting likes out of it. Just go read it. It'll inspire you. I feel
love
like
it.
that's why I was put on this earth.
Well, you're doing a fantastic job of it, and I'm so grateful that you came on the
Thank
show.
you.
So, right now, what books, what podcasts, what do you recommend people use for their mental diet on top of going to
So
your stuff?
yeah, so many books that I've read over the years, and the ones that I fall back to, Think and Grow Rich, the classic, Napoleon Hill, definitely one. Darren Hardy wrote a book called The Compound Effect. That's a very, very good book. The books that I'm currently reading right now, there's a book that Dan Martell wrote called Buy Back Your Time. So it is a book. You talked with Adrienne over the VAs. It's a book to kind of help you get some of your time back, which is something that I'm really working on over this next year. And then I had some health struggles last year, so I've been reading a lot on health as well. Peter Attia wrote a book called Outlive that is incredibly long but super interesting. I'm a huge book reader, so those are the two that I'm in the process of.
So, guys, success leaves clues. I'm a huge book reader. That just saying, just saying. Pick one
Important.
up, pick one of the books that she recommended up. It's just going to change your trajectory just a little tiny bit, just a little bit and a little bit. And then you get to where, oh, you're hungry for it. I mean, you just can't
Yeah.
hardly stand it. So last question is, you're on Think Your Way to an Epic Life. So what can our folks do to help them think their ways to an epic life?
I'm a firm believer meditating in the morning, positive thoughts, 3 things that you're grateful for, even if it's something very small. I woke up this morning, I woke up in a warm bed this morning. I had this amazing dinner last night, just small gratefuls. It doesn't have to be something huge and profound. I wake up every morning and I'm excited to tackle the day. Right now, my 3 words are vitality, energy, and connection. Those are the 3 words. I have them on my mirror. That I read every morning to remind me vitality, excitement, connection. Those are the things that I'm really focusing on this year. So that's why I'm super blessed to have been connected with you, because this is something that I'm really focusing on this year is connecting with people and bringing this kind of stuff out, because I think it's necessary. Positive thoughts, positive thoughts. I cannot stress that enough. If you exercise, go for a walk, get on early morning daylight, sun first thing in the morning. If you might, right now it's dark outside where I'm at in the middle of the day. So we don't always have that opportunity, but positive thoughts, positive thinking is the thing that will transform your life the most.
Absolutely. Could not agree more. Kellie, I love you. I'm so grateful, so appreciative, and we will do this again, I hope.
Yes, I would love that. Thank you, Kara.